Hi everyone, InfiniteCaz here, and welcome to another video. Today, I'll be talking all about Splatfest, and my thoughts on them as a whole, dating from all the way back in 2017 to the most recent one, which is the final Splatfest as far as we know. I want to express my opinions on them throughout Splatoon 2's lifetime, and what I liked and didn't like about them. Additionally, I will touch on what could make them better for Splatoon 3. With that being said, let's get right into it. In case you don't know what a Splatfest is, they are events that take place across Splatoon 2, where players choose a team and battle it out for glory. They were usually 24 hours, but special themed ones lasted from 48 hours to 3 days. The themes were mainly linked to some real life debate, examples being ketchup versus mayo and salty versus sweet popcorn. The themes could also vary between regions. For example, in the October 2017 fest, North America got a spooky theme with vampires versus werewolves, while Europe got front row versus back row. Yes, a Splatfest theme about toilet paper. Certainly a questionable decision. So as you can see, the themes could be kind of dumb, but that was the fun in Splatfest, sparking stupid debates over arbitrary real life concepts. One team would be represented by Pearl and the other Marina, which for many was a deciding factor in their team pick, but not focusing on that. The unique dialogue they receive and the music we get exclusively for Splatfest is awesome. The atmosphere of walking around the plaza at night with Pearl and Marina playing on a stage is great and helps sell the theme of the Splatfest. Once you have picked your team, you receive a special Splatfest tee, which has a main of ability doubler and can be scrubbed for cheap, making it easy to grind gear compared to normal tops. Yes, this means top exclusive abilities are off limits during Splatfest. I'm sorry to all you Ninja Squid enthusiasts. You need to return it at the end of the fest, sadly. I think keeping it but doing away with the reduced scrub cost would be a neat addition. What about the gameplay? During Splatfest, ranked and league battles are unavailable and Turf War changes into the main mode. The only mode that remains untouched are private battles. Splatfest had a revamp between the August and September 2018 fests, where the previously solo and team modes were combined, and Pro mode was made, which was where you could earn a Splatfest power. Before the rework, the winner of the fest was decided on battles won, and that was changed to a point system, where you win points for winning, and the team average is taken at the end of the Splatfest. I do prefer this system, and it allows newer players who play a lot of the Splatfest to make a bigger contribution. And the addition of 10 times and 100 times battles makes the game even more tense and encourages you to play at your best. The biggest issue many people have with Splatfest is the lack of ranked modes outside private battles. So if you don't have people to play with, you're stuck to Turf War. Salmon Run is often open during Splatfest, but the rotation may end mid-fest, and the mode to begin with isn't a favourite of everyone. Splatfest do cater towards the more casual side of the community, which makes up the vast majority, and many fellow competitive players have issues with Splatfest as a whole. I'm kind of halfway, not a huge fan of them, but I think they've been a huge factor in the game's success and continued longevity. When the Splatfest ends, there are 3 factors that decide the winner: popularity, normal clout, and challenge clout. The team who wins the majority of these categories wins overall, and doesn't account to much apart from a big sense of achievement and a bonus chunk of Super Sea Snails. There have been debates dating as far back as Splatoon 1 if a certain team is more favoured to win, and what I see is that the least popular team often has a decent advantage. This is because the average skill level of the less popular team is slightly higher, as more experienced players are more likely to choose based on this factor, while less experienced players will choose the more favourable team theme. Often, you see a lot of big Splatooners picking the more popular side, which will undoubtedly result in a further shift. This trend doesn't always happen, but it is often the case. Examples being the recent Mushroom vs Star, Chicken vs Egg, Hare vs Tortoise, and Family vs Friends. This definitely has made an influence on my team decision, but I think there is no real solution around this, so it's not that big a deal, as I don't take winning or losing that seriously. If you manage to score a high power, you have the chance to make the top 100 of your team on the Splatnet scoreboard, which is a nice little extra for those who contributed a lot to the game. To start on a positive note, what do I like about Splatfest? I love the theming and atmosphere of them. As stated, Inkopolis goes dark, and the plaza with all the lights, as well as the nighttime variants of each stage, is beautiful. Each Splatfest comes with a special stage, Shift Tree Station, that incorporates a unique gimmick. These range from really fun to frustrating, but I appreciate having a more casual stage to mess around on, which also made hours of turf war a lot more varied. I enjoy being able to use weapons I normally wouldn't touch, and the ability to mess around with a group of my friends playing Quad Junior is a good break from the stress of comp. Playing Splatfest with friends is the best way to go, and while solo can be fine, nothing beats having fun with people you know and get along with. While I can complain about fests, when I'm in the midst of it I find myself having a great time, and I have lots of positive memories from my very first Splatfest all the way to the Super Mario one. But in my opinion, the single best thing about Splatfest is the hype they bring and how they have helped Splatoon 2 stay popular. As someone who has dedicated a lot of time to Splatoon, it's heartwarming to see new people pick up the game and have a blast, and Splatfests have surely been a driving force in encouraging new peeps to boot up the game. It makes me happy that Nintendo care about Splatoon from an update stance, and their support on keeping the game fresh has been admirable. I believe they handled the game well, and extending the runtime of Splatfest has helped pull new people to the game long after the initial hype for it died down. The casual fan base of the game is the core part of the Splatoon 2 community, and I see nothing wrong in catering to them once in a while to drive up interest again. Not to mention all the talented artists that come up with creations dedicated to the Splatfest, a section of the community that I deeply admire and am thankful for. But what do I not like about Splatfests? It's really how repetitive they feel. They used to be monthly, and let's say the gameplay got pretty stale very quickly. I don't really enjoy playing turf war after turf war, and while fun with friends, doing this solo is so repetitive and frankly boring after a few hours. While not an issue for everyone, when Splatfests were a 24-hour window, I often missed the vast majority of it. And when I wanted to at least play for the Super Sea Snails, it was frustrating. Although on the flip side, the 2-day fests often drag out and I feel a sense of relief when it's finally over. The only Splatfest I had no real issues with was the Chaos vs Order, aka Final Fest, because I thought that it was the last one, so I was very excited and made the most out of the 3-day event. Although the issues I have with Splatfest are shared among a comparatively small group of the community, I find the lack of ranked modes frustrating, and wish Nintendo could have done something different, while still putting the emphasis on turf war. The other big issue I have during Splatfest is the matchmaking, which benefits nobody. The teams in the normal mode are matched randomly outside lobbying up with friends. So one match you might find yourself against a team of newer players, and the next a group of friends with several thousand hours on the game combined. It's unfair to high level players to go against people much lower level than them, and even worse on the other end. It makes the game boring for the highly skilled players at worst, and downright unfair and miserable for the ones on the other side. This is also true when matching up with people from your own team. Often the skill level varies so much that there's one person who carries the whole match when the rest of the team struggle to do anything. Just to clarify, this isn't an attack on lower level players. As long as you try your best, there's no reason to get angry if you think you had to carry a game. It's much more of an issue with the game putting comp players up against people who bought the game a week ago, decreasing the enjoyment for both parties drastically. Because there is no ranking system, unlike ranked or league, there's less control of who gets paired with who, and creates a lot of unfair situations for everyone involved. Pro mode does have a point system, but even then, it can be hard to work your way up when you keep on getting teamed up with players below your skill level. You mess up your placement matches, and good luck grinding games to pull yourself out of the mess that is lower level matchmaking. But how would I fix Splatfest for Splatoon 3? Firstly, I would have a pre-Splatfest event. See, it gives people the opportunity to win some regular turf matches in exchange for sea snails and fest points if they can't play on the day. This will only count towards your score if you don't play during the fest, and if you have pre-fest points, they can reset when you start a match on the day. The rewards wouldn't be as generous as people who play the proper Splatfest, but it would give more people the ability to be able to contribute to their team of choice. I would also add in an extra mode, which is in the style of ranked battles, but with a separate objective only available in Splatfest. An example of this could be an 8-ball mode, where both teams fight to deliver their 8-ball to a podium. This would appease people like me who crave a bit more variety, as well as giving newer players a different mode to tackle when turf war gets stale. In this mode, you could earn medals which can be used for cosmetic purposes, as well as increased clout. Next, I would change the matchmaking, which would aim to team people up based on levels or ranks to make turf wars more enjoyable for everyone playing. Some simple tweaks to how this works would make a world of difference, and it's nowhere out of the question to ask for something along these lines. I would also like battles against your team to not count towards or make you lose your win streak, as going up against your own Splatfest teammates and having your streak shattered is heartbreaking. Lastly, I would love to see some Splatfest exclusive weapon skins and cosmetics. Outside the scenery change, not much about the game and customization is very different. I think skins that glow in the dark would look incredible, and these could be unlocked after winning a certain amount of matches with your chosen weapon. Giving mini objectives over the Splatfest duration would keep people motivated and entertained when playing extended sessions. So that's all for now. What are your thoughts on Splatfest, and how would you improve them in the long run? If you have any ideas, I would love to hear them down in the comments. With that out of the way, please like and subscribe as it really helps me out. We're on the way to 1k subs and it would be amazing to have you here. Thanks for watching and I will see you all soon. Bye!